So my buddy got the full tilt boogie racing kit for his Cobra, and he has the IRS all dropped out of the car, and he said, hey, come on over and we can use the bushing removal tool on your stuff. So I have these extra control arms for the IRS that I'd like to do, and my full tilt boogie racing stuff. So I took him over to his house so that we could push those old bushings out together. Here's his Cobra, and he's doing a lot of work on it right now. I brought my control arms over there to work on them together, but here it is with the IRS all the way out of the car, and he's taken it all apart, so that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, we didn't get very far because the bushing removal tool didn't fit the control arms. It may have been just for the cradle, so we both decided to order the tools from Full Tilt, so we're going to have that all taken care of. I'm glad he's working on that because it's pushing me to get mine done. I haven't done any more with it because of the bushings, having the trouble getting them out without the tool and stuff, so I'm glad he's working on it. But it was a really nice evening. This is my favorite time of day, so I decided to go ahead and take the Cobra out for a little bit of a drive and just enjoy. It still drives fine, it's tuned, everything's alright. It's actually running rich enough now that I've changed the intake back to a stock intake, so I decided I wanted to go drive around a little bit and enjoy the evening. It really was an awesome time to be out with the car, nice and warm out. I know the fall will be coming soon, and then the winter and everything, and it won't be as fun. It doesn't really snow here, so I still drive my cars all year round, but it's going to be a lot less desirable to drive when it's colder, so I want to enjoy these days while I can, the warm summer days just like this. You can hear those heat exchanger fans. It was such a perfect night to drive around though. Look how nice it is with the seats, everything. I went and got some fresh gas in the car. I don't keep a whole lot of gas in it. That way I can burn out what's in there all the time and always have fresh gasoline in there. And so now the next thing to do is pull this nice Ford Motorcraft battery out of the red Terminator, because I'm going to be putting that in my orange Terminator along with this battery tray that's stock and in good condition. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have a Optima battery for this car, and another reason I'm removing the tray and doing all this right now is because this alternator, which is stock here, it's not having any trouble or issues at all. But I did order a really nice 200 amp Nations alternator, and it comes with the external regulator. That's that box there in the foreground, and Danny Johnson suggested doing that to make sure that the power supply, the regulator, everything doesn't get hot when it's inside the alternator, because it's right by the exhaust, and that's usually an issue with the Terminators. And I called them and asked them, and it has a 3.0 pulley on it, so I know what size pulley it is to make sure that I'm getting everything ready for the new supercharger install and what belt I need. And so I got the battery tray all out and cleaned up and ready to go in the orange Cobra, because the orange Cobra already has a modified battery tray for the Optima battery. So the next step was to go to the other garage and get the competition orange Terminator out. And the car's been up here without a battery in it, and this is where I'm going to take the battery tray out because, like I said, it's already been modified for an Optima. So whoever had this car before had a nice Optima battery in there at one point. And so I needed to come get the tray out, and it was kind of an order of operations thing. And my mouse traps making sure I catch things. You'll see what I caught here in a second. But anyway, it's an order of operations thing because I needed to take batteries out before I could move cars, before I could bring them home, and I didn't want to have to put the battery in and then have to take the battery back out to get the tray back out because it's the tray I wanted. So I took the red Cobra's tray up with me so that I could swap trays while I was up there, and then I'll clean up the tray that was in this car before I put it in the red one. And obviously I don't want to put the tray in until I change the alternator on the red one. So here's where the tray was modified for the Optima. It's been cut out on the side there, and so that's got to come out. And here are the two trays together. Here's the stock tray from the red Terminator. It's going to go in here so I can put a battery in it and drive it back over to the house. And so it'll just snake in down here, and then we can have a nice little startup video because we haven't seen this orange Cobra for a while. And so as I walked back into the garage to get something else and shut the door, I noticed that my glue trap had caught a snake that was slithering underneath my snake, my Cobra. And so I really don't like killing anything that doesn't need to die, and I really feel bad when I see things like this get stuck in there that weren't really harming anything. But I did put these glue traps around each wheel so that if mice were in there, they wouldn't climb up in my tire and eat away at my wiring harness or anything. So it's kind of sad. I don't like killing anything, like I said, but I also don't want them nesting in my car or rodents climbing up in there and eating away my wiring harness. So I did take the Cobra for a nice little drive, and something neat about this was I realized how my Cobra, being on the stock ECU tune for this car, still has the shift up light on the gauge cluster on the dash, and that was a 0304 Cobra only thing. They were trying to avoid the gas guzzler tax, and they put that on the dash so that you could try to shift better for optimum fuel economy. When the car's under a certain load in gear, it knows that you need to upshift for better fuel economy. It didn't work from what I understand. Ford was not able to achieve the optimum fuel economy to avoid that gas guzzler tax or emissions or whatever they were doing with that. But it is cool to see on the Cobra. It's tuned off of my red Terminator, and so when I drive my orange one, I see it there. And I had conversation with friends on Instagram because I posted this video up, and they said they hated the light. I said I like it because it reminds me of a Terminator only thing. And so I will admit, however, though, that when I first started driving my Terminator and it had that on there, I kept thinking the engine light was coming on, the check engine light. And so it was kind of annoying at first, and I was kind of scared every time I saw it come on, but then I realized what it was. But now that my red Cobra is going to have all the gauge pods and everything in there flashing, and the wideband, everything, one more little blinking light isn't going to really be noticeable in that regard. So I kind of like it because it's Terminator only. Here's the video of that, just to show you what I'm talking about. I think it's kind of cool, and I might have it tuned back on my red Cobra just because of the specialness of it. And so I really enjoyed driving this car. I haven't driven it for a while, and it's so fun to walk away from it and look back and see it there. I did stop in to get a pizza on the way home with the family, and I looked back and I could just see the car in the parking lot. Of course, I park way out there where no one's going to door ding it, and I just love seeing the car there. It's so cool. I think, man, when else are you going to see a competition orange Terminator like this? They're just not around. I mean, unless you own one, you just don't see these cars, and they're very rare, very sought after, and now very hard to find. So I drove over to Danny Johnson's house for a little bit, decided to stop in and talk a little bit. We went for a ride in his Mach 1 and everything, but while I was there waiting for him to get the Mach 1 ready, I just took a little video of the car just to see how nice it is, and I just love this car. It's absolutely what I want, and it makes me very happy. And this car is going to stay basically stock. It has to have the exhaust, in my opinion. That's why it has the catback and off-road X-pipe and the short shifter. That's as far as I want to go with modification to this car, though. Just inside, no gauges, nothing aftermarket on it, just totally stock. Beautiful seats, beautiful everything. 34,000 miles. You know, I put these brand new OEM Ford replacement headlights in. They were really costly, but they were definitely what I wanted for the car. And the other ones were in great shape, so I put them in my Mach 1. So there's a little update on the Orange Cobra 2 as we're going through all this, and I will be getting more parts coming in and be telling you what's going on with the build for the Red Cobra. So stay tuned for more of these videos.